heard somebody say, well, pastor, Jesus was poor, so why can't the pastors live at a minimum type of wage? Like, come on, that doesn't even make sense.
Right.
That does not make sense. So, if he's not using the church money for anything other than community services and things like that, then there's a problem. But why wouldn't I want my pastor to be wealthy? Why wouldn't I want my pastor? I want my CEO to be wealthy. That's the problem. A lot of people, they look at their CEO, they got billions of dollars,
and they don't have a problem.
They don't have no problem with that.
But the Bible even talks about us being worth our wages. If you look in 1 Timothy, I believe it's chapter 5. So it talks about someone being worth their wages, and you should be able to have an income for whatever it is you do. It amazes me, and this is really to the I'll say to the unchurched and those who just don't like what they see in churches. It amazes me how people, and you said this, Massey, how people have a problem with people having a living. What about bivocational pastors? Pastors who actually go out there and they work, and because I know a couple of pastors who actually have regular everyday jobs, and they have very lucrative positions where they make a decent amount of money, and they're not asking the church for anything, really. They're just doing it because of the love of it. But when this person drives around and they've got a BMW or they got a Mercedes or something like that they purchase from their wages at their job, everybody automatically assumes like, oh, he's shiesty. That's a dirty pastor. He's stealing from the flock. You don't know that.
Right.
Judging from afar, you know what I mean? How off base is that? And you find a lot of time that it is unfortunately non-Christians and non-believers who actually oppose the fact that these men and women have some semblance of wealth. Because if you're in a position, and let's just call it what it is, if you're in a position of ignorance, meaning if you don't understand and you don't really know the full scope of something, then how is it that you can actually have a valid opinion? I say you can't.
Right, and like I said, it's the pastor's job to help you spiritually.
Right.
And if your churches have finance classes, they have resources.
Right.
That's his job. His job isn't to know where every dime you spend go, and then expect him to expect the church, because you don't know how to budget.
Right. Yeah. And then you got to think about this. There's another thing now. I've had I had a few mentors in my life, and one of them specifically told me, what a pastor does in the pulpit is less than 5% of what they actually have to do.
Right.
If you got a real pastor, and I'm talking about a real pastor, not the kind that
just get up.
We know about the shiesty ones, but we're not giving them space right now. But I will say, like a real pastor, they visit the sick, right? They offer counseling. They do funerals, they do weddings, they come to your graduations. You know what I mean? Some of them have other resources that they've made available, like there are schools that have been established. You have these guys that actually do a myriad of other things that a pastor should do, and people think just because that plate come across their lap and they put $10 in it, that's going straight to heaven. I disagree. I disagree. Yeah.
And the churches have a budget, just like it is. You got to look at it from a spiritual side and the business side. Lights got to stay on. People got to get paid for their time. I mean,
where do you think your McDonald's money going?
Right.
I mean, seriously, do you think that do you think that grill stays hot just because they like you? You know what I mean? If they didn't pay their bills, they wouldn't be able to cook their food. It's the same thought process behind it. I'm thrown. I'm blown.
Right.
I don't know what to say. Sometimes I just laugh though, because a lot of people really do. I was just in a barbershop recently and I heard it again. Man, I don't give my tithes to that man. Like, dude, you're not giving. You tithe unto God.
Yeah.
It's like this. When I put my couple of dollars, I was just at the O's game recently, and I was leaving the park. Guy was sitting out front. Now I don't always put money in cups. I'm not gonna lie about that. But this in particular guy, for some reason, I felt like it was okay to give it to him. So I put a couple dollars in his cup. Now, I don't know what he's gonna do with it.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
He can very well get up, go get him some Old E, or some Thunderbird, or some cognac, some Hennessy. I ain't giving that much though. Yeah, I gave him enough to probably get some cold duck and maybe a natty bowl. But the point I'm trying to make is my intention is what matters. When I give, it's because I'm giving because that's what I'm choosing to do for the kingdom of the Lord. So
Right.
that's the intention that you give with. If you always give, wanting to know where every dollar goes, you're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, even these big organizations like Susan G. Komen and all them, all that money don't go to cancer research. Some of that money goes towards facility upkeep, salaries, etc. So it just
Majority.
blows me away.
Yeah, they released an article, and I wish I had it. They released an article, and that was one of the, Susan B. Komen was one of the places where the CEO
Mhm.
was making almost $500,000 a year.
Oh, she's wealthy. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These big corporations, but
Mhm.
nobody had a problem giving it to them because they're doing cancer. They're not, most of that money is operational.
Yeah, a lot of it goes into operations. Yeah, but
It's few, like maybe 20% that they're using
for
on
actual research. Exactly.
If that's the case, we'll be close to a cure by now.
Right. Say it again.
No shade.
Yeah, no shade at all. But
However.
please, we should have been had some answers by
all,
now.
all,
Real.
all this stuff. I mean, it's just, that's another show, another story.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Government control.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Pay attention, y'all.
Pay attention. Keep your eyes open. Keep your head on the swivel. But look, we're getting ready to take a break. We're going to a break. When we come back from the break, our guest has arrived, so we're excited today. We've got Coach Greg Dorsey in here. He's going to talk to us about living a healthier lifestyle. So put that chicken box down and put that sweet tea down,
I like
because
that.
I doubt it if that's what he's going to tell us that we're going to be able to eat.
Oh, no, that's a
I had a donut before the show. I'm starting to feel real guilty. But when we come back from the break, we'll be joined by Coach Greg Dorsey, and we've got a lot of information for you. So thank you for tuning in to the After Church Show with Greg and Friends. Remember, catch us on our website, www.theafterchurchshow.com, or hit us up on streetlegalradio.com. You can download the app, or you can tune in and listen to us. We'll talk to you in a few minutes.